Alright guys, I got a super cool review for you today from Tesstudio. It's the Dome Starlight for the Cybertruck. Hello TT. Open Starlight. It's got 6 different colors, and you can change it from opaque to transparent using the button or your voice. So stick around for the review to find out more. Hey guys, Evander here, back with another Tesstudio review. This time I bring you the world's first review for the Dome Starlight Ambient light for the Cybertruck. This goes in the rear on top, in the top glass. This is going to sit underneath there, snaps into place. We've got some wiring we've got to do here for power. You might be able to see on camera, there is a sort of pattern in the glass here. So it can light up, I think, about 6 different colors, and it gives this sort of ludicrous mode, kind of beast mode. You know, you're launching into that warp drive speed design going on in there. You'll see when it's lit up if you haven't already. And what I really like, and I'm eager to try, is it can go transparent or opaque at the push of a button. So you can use this to block out the UV rays from the sun and the light, or reveal it and it turns back into a normal window. So super excited to get this installed. Doesn't look too complicated. There are, I think, 18 steps to go through. A lot of it's just simple. Screw this in, plug this in. The hardest part would probably be pushing it up into place. I might need to get a helper to help me move things in. But otherwise, this should be a very quick, easy install. And as always, my Red Knave 20 is going to save you at least 20% off. I did just get confirmation that I will be bumped back down to that 20% on the 13th of January 2025. So if I really publish this thing as fast as I can, you might have 3 days to use my code and get up to 35% off. So you're going to save the most in the next 3 days. Be sure to take advantage of that. All right, let's get started on the install. The first thing is just screw a couple tabs into place, and I'll walk you through the whole thing and you'll see how easy it is to do. Let's get going. All right, step 1, we've got a little bit of wire management to do. So we've got a big one here that says canopy, connects into a box, also called canopy. We've got one that says Starlight. What do you know? That connects to a box that says Starlight. And then this is wire D. That links up to another wire D. And what else we got? Yeah, these are E together. And then the canopy light is going to get adhered on top of the Starlight. Squish those together. And we're going to sandwich that and hide this later once we install it. Everything else we won't need till later, so we can set these aside. Next step is to install these little mounting tabs. This is going to be facing the back side of the truck, and they use the shorter of the mounting brackets. The longer ones will face towards the front. So I just need to screw these in. There's 4 in total. Again, 2 short, those face the back. 2 longer tabs face the front. All right, we need to remove the bracket that's on the rear side. So I flipped it over. Whoop, pop off these little buttons. And we're gonna temporarily remove these so that this little aluminum bracket will come off. And then we will insert that into the truck ahead of time. You'll see in a second. So I'm going to loosen these on both sides. All right, this little aluminum bracket now has come off of the dome light. And here's where those little buttons were attached. That's going to be facing downwards. And then we will place this in between the glass and the headliner up top. All right, next step, we need to put the canopy light into the Cybertruck. So it has a sticker on it. This little sticker is the underside facing forward. That needs to be inserted like so. I have put my back seats up and my front seats all the way forward as far as they can go. And we're just gonna slide this in. Careful not to break any of the tabs that we screwed on earlier. All right, leave that there for now. Next step, we need to remove the front passenger side trim. Just pull on it. Comes down easy. We're going to be hiding some cables in this later. Just want this kind of out of the way. You can see my cable I hid from my Honcho digital mirror. Then we're going to pry open this area with the included pry tool. This one's the easier side. Cool. Done. Set that aside. Keep pulling. There is a cable in here, which I see, and we're going to be tapping into its power source with our cables. We're going to be using this little cable to tap into the A-pillar trim cable, which is located immediately here underneath that trim. I'm going to try not to block the shot, but you just pull that out, plug it in. Then we're going to take the other side, and that's going to replace it. Easy. This then has this tiny wire. If we come back to our other wires, the tiny wire that's attached to this big conglomeration of other cables, there's only one possible wire that you're going to tap into here. So you connect that together. Now it has power. And then we are going to take the adhesive off of this. And this is going to get tucked in, and there is a little bit of a void behind this piece here, and I'm going to shuffle it up there and stick it on. So that's the next step. All right, pro tip, these two boxes are too wide to go in together. Luckily, they used a Velcro adhesive, so you can pull this canopy off of the Starlight box, and you're going to want to put those back on separately, because this can slip in alone, but together it's too fat. So you want to separate these. Luckily, this is cured on there nice and good. Speaking of, they gave some adhesion promoter. I'm going to wear a glove since it smells pretty gnarly. And we're going to rub this in here. I'm not sure exactly where I'll stick this on, so I'll kind of liberally apply it inside this little area. And that will help this box stick and stay stuck. All right, we're going to get the Starlight box. I'm going to face the cables this way, so if I need to unplug anything, I'll be able to do so. Again, try not to block my shot. So I hope you can see this. Squeeze that in. And I really want to put it as far back as I can get it, so it is like out of the way. There's like a little boxy area. There we go. Give it a good firm press to have it adhere. And then I can stick this smaller box back on top of it. And then I'm going to plug this back in. I did unplug it so I could squeeze past and not bump into anything. Very nice. They gave us some zip ties as well. So zip tie as needed to keep everything neat and tidy. I'll probably just zip tie these to that. It's called the A-pillar trim ATR. So I'm gonna do some zip tying, just keep things a little nice and tidy, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, here's my little zip tie job. Got everything neatly organized. Now we've got these two cables, which eventually we're going to run up and hide in this trim. Before we do so, we need to run these three cables through the pillar area in the ceiling and go back through the headliner into the rear. They give you this long, thin plastic piece. We're going to tape. They didn't give us any tape, so use a little bit of tape. We're going to tape these wires, and this is going to be our little fishing guide to maneuver this through the headliner so you don't have to use your fingers. So I'm glad they thought of that. So I'm going to tape this up real quick and show you how to use this stick. All right, you want to get that stick. Got the cables taped to it, and you're going to pull down this little headliner as far as you can, and see if I can get it in there. There's this little notch that stick can squeeze past. You're gonna basically pull these cables so they're gonna be passing beneath your airbags. You do not want them in front. We're gonna be tucking them behind the airbag so they don't interfere. And then you're gonna push that white stick through, pull your headliner down. I don't really have some advice other than pull carefully. And then there you can see that stick poking out. So I'm just going to basically pull these wires through and focus them towards the middle of this headliner trim. All right, cables have been funneled through. Not gonna lie, it took me a few times. I ended up doing just one at a time, and that seemed to help. It was a little too fat to do all of them at once. Now that they're through, I think I'm going to start rerouting these cables since we're going to hide it inside of this trim. Technically, the instructions say to do this last, but I feel like I want the least amount of tension in this area. And if I don't do it right, even in their install video, they had a little bit that was like hanging like this. I want this to tuck nice and neat right beneath and behind that airbag. So I'm gonna just tuck these in right now. Make sure it's underneath it and behind it. The rest, oh wow, that was actually really easy. The rest will just get tucked into this paneling. I think I'm going to do a little bit more zip ties here and there, just to make sure these don't move. And then we're almost done. We just got to raise it into place. And it should power on as soon as I plug in some cables. So put this trim back. It's a shame that this Honcho cable from the digital mirror, there's just no way to cut across this. It's almost like they kind of fuse these two pieces of plastic. I don't see an easy way to take them apart so that there's no cable showing for that digital mirror. All right, this trim's reinstalled. Can't even tell I was there. Now we got to go to the back, and we're almost done. All right, before you install this thing, don't forget to peel off the protective plastic, because once we raise this into place, it's not coming back down again to take that off. So how this works, we're going to move the front into place, and that's going to slot in with those tabs we installed in one of the first steps. The back side is going to swing up, and then we're going to secure it with those 4 little button screws that I took off earlier. But before we do that, we got to plug this thing in with these cables. we have routed over. So let me see how I can do that alone. All right, helps to have a hat, apparently. So we've got these little barrels. All those connect. There's a special way these connect, so make sure you pay attention to where the little cutout is so that these fit perfectly with that. Then we've got an A and a B cable. And what do you know? They are labeled on this side as well. A goes to A, B goes to B. All this stuff can now get zip tied and or tucked into the headliner. So to put up the backside, they give you a very long screw. That's very clever because I need to be able to screw these into those tiny little holes from way over here. So that allows me to use one of these holes, and it's so long that I can guide it into that rail to line it up. So I need both my hands, so I'm gonna screw that in. It acted as a sort of guide. So once I was able to position that, screw it in place, I was able to push this roof up that longer screw. And now these shorter little buttony screws should line perfectly up with that initial bracket that we put in place. So we're just going to screw these 4 little button screws back into place, pop the black covered button on to hide that silver, and we're done. Obviously pull out the longer screw and replace it once you've got the shorter screw in there to hold it in place. Very smart method. That would have been quite difficult if you had to do that without the longer screw. I think we are done. I'm going to peel off the last protective plastic. Ow! Static electricity. You've been warned. All right, how do we work this thing? Oh. Okay. Well, I can see the tree above me, and then I can't. So that's very cool. I need to read the instructions. Touch the button once to basically open and close the electric canopy. So close is opaque, open is transparent. That works. Press and hold for 2 seconds to activate the light. 1,000, 2, 1,000. Okay, I could kind of see the light. It's very bright right now. I see, so you can kind of combine. How do I change colors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I see them. There's red, green, blue, yellow, light blue, purple, and I'm gonna leave it on red. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna take a rest on the floor. We are done, but guess what? This has voice controls. Hello TT. It blinks. Open the canopy. That's really fast too. Close the canopy. Open the canopy. Open the Starlight. Cool. Close the Starlight. Okay. You can still notice the Starlight pattern even when it's not on, but it's a lot more subtle. Open the Starlight. All right. It does have a note here. You cannot change the color of the starry sky is what they call it. So you can turn the color or turn the light on and off with your voice. You can make it opaque or transparent with your voice, but at this time you can't change the color itself. That would have been nice. It seems the voice control does time out after a little bit of inactivity, maybe 10 seconds or so of not giving a command. You can see it blinking there. So now if I say, open the canopy, yeah, it doesn't work. Hello, TT. Open the canopy. There we go. That works so well. That is super cool. That's kind of trippy to be on the floor looking up at this tree as well. All right, guys, that about does it for the install. Here are my final thoughts. As far as quality, I'm pretty impressed. I really do like how whatever material they use for this headliner, it's a pretty good match. It's the soft suede-like material. Glad they used that. The buttons themselves are very responsive, and even the voice control was responsive within like a second. I'm glad it's not like some like chat GPT. It takes a few seconds to recognize the voice. So it's clearly that they trained it on what, like 5 different keywords or so, and it's really good at it. So I was very surprised that it was so responsive. The top portion here, that's not a glass, if you can hear that. It's more of a plastic. It feels like a plastic, maybe an acrylic. So this has a bit of a flex to it since it is not butt up against the glass. There is an air gap up there. So if you were to hit your head on it, it does flex. Keep in mind, I feel like this is a soft material, so you wouldn't want to scratch this with something if you're moving something in or out of your truck. If you were wondering, it does power off when your truck powers off. That's probably why we tied into the specific line that we did. So if I were to open a door, my truck now has power. And now if I tap the button, the canopy has power as well. So close, open, close, open, hold for 2 seconds, turns on the light. Super cool. Yeah, it's like that plaid mode. Very cool. I'm not sure what other design they could have done, but I'm sure that possibly opens up some opportunities for them to have a different design in the future. And I'm not sure what else I would want, but I'm glad they chose this one. It's sort of representative of like, going really, really fast. And changing the colors, you hold for 5 seconds. You can see in this light, red, green, blue, yellow, light blue, purple, nothing, and red again. So obviously red, I'm going to be leaving it on red. The whole car is red for now, but I'll play around with it. I'll be sure to get some more footage of this when it's even darker. It's not even quite dusk right now. Here's some more footage when it's completely dark outside. Got the light blue, purple, nothing, red, green, blue. These blues and greens are definitely the brighter ones. Sort of a yellow, light blue, and we're back to purple. It is much darker than this 16 Pro Max is showing, but if you were curious what it looks like from the outside, yes, you can see it. And my rear windows are in fact tinted deeper than the factory tint. So definitely can view it from the outside, and I wouldn't be surprised if I get some looks when I'm on the freeway. Yeah, this took maybe an hour if I wasn't filming. So you could easily do this in about an hour, I would say. Maybe less if you had a partner, help you hold things in, screw things in. You could speed things up a bit. But overall, not difficult. Compared to my C9 screen and the digital mirror, those are in the upper advanced level of installs, I would say, because it takes a careful hand here and there. A whole lot of prying off a lot of trim for the C9 screen. For this thing, the only trim I really had to remove is on the front passenger side, and that is the easier of the two sides. If you watched my other two reviews, you would see that front passenger side is very easy to take off compared to the front driver's side, and it wasn't very difficult. Pushing some wires through with a stick basically was the hardest part of this install. The rest of it is just tiny little screws, screwing them in, pushing things up, easy. Not an advanced one at all. I'd say anybody could do this one. If you want to grab this one, Red Knave 20, again, 3 more days, it's going to get you 35% off. After that, it's back down to 20. I'm not sure on the shipping for this, so don't come blaming me if it takes a while to ship. I know China has a Lunar New Year celebration coming up that could slow down shipping. Just keep that in mind. You're going to get it eventually, though. Don't worry. Tesstudio follows up. They're a reputable company. They don't just make Cybertruck stuff. They've been making Tesla stuff for years. So as far as a company, you can trust them. They will deliver. It just might take a while, potentially, if you are in the backlog of having this arrive. Mine arrived in less than a week after they shipped it to me. Man, that's just really trippy. I can't wait. It almost makes me wish I could drive in the back seat so I could see it more, but it'd probably be a little distracting. Very, very happy. It was a really fun install, and I can't wait to show more people this at any meetups. If you're going to go to any Silicon Valley meetups, keep an eye out for me. I'll probably be there. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. See you later.